Hello! Today we are going to work on this piece. We will do our best to try to paint using watercolor this piece. We have one apple, one lime, and 3 bananas. The 3 of them, they have the light that is coming this way from the upper right side. Okay, that's why we have the lighter part of this object in these parts. You have this shadow here that is coming from this part, and then you have these projected shadows here. Then you may notice that you have a line of horizon here also, so that is going to help us when we insinuate the background in a very soft and light way as we have done before. So what are we going to use today? Today we are going to use our normal piece of paper that is already framed with tape. We are going to use some watercolor papers. We are going to use a couple of brushes. Remember that you can use whatever you have at home, but I will really recommend you to use round brushes. We will use watercolors, and good to remember, you know, the kind of paper that we are using. We are using the watercolor paper that is 140 or 300 grams. So depending of how you read that, is the watercolor that I am recommending to use. So let's go to work. Using very pale pink salmon color, I am going to draw the apple. Very schematic. Okay, we don't need to do a lot of things. I am I'm trying to, yeah, I think that you can really see, you know, the drawing here. Using the green color, okay, I am going to do the lemon one. Okay, I'm trying to make the drawing as visible as possible, so you are going to see during the demonstration. I'm gonna even use that green. I think, I don't know if the yellow is so visible for you. I'm gonna use the green one for the bananas. Remember that we are not taking a photograph of this, okay? So as far as there is something that we can recognize as a banana, that is okay. Okay, so now we will go to work on the wet part of this painting, the watercolors. And how are we going to do this? We are going to start, remember, with what is far away from us. Always the bananas are going to be far away from us. Then we are going to go to probably the apple, and then the lime, and it's going to be a process. So you have to be patient, as always, you are. We are going to create a color that is going to be a mix of yellow, the yellow that you have at home. I have this yellow, which is a kind of warm yellow, and a little of ochre color. So this is what I am going to use. And remember, I normally work with very pale colors first, and then I go to something that is a little more darker. Okay, so I am going to work on this. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to work on a very flat color. Okay, this kind of yellow is going to be flat because I am going to work with many layers, so that are going to be on the top of this one. What I'm doing is I am erasing my own drawing. See the way I am using the brush right now, and it's very horizontal, as I said you in the other class. You have to follow basically you have to follow the rhythm of the object that you are painting in this case. Okay, so this is kind of horizontal. With the apples, we are going to have probably a different approach, or with a lemon too, and you're going to see how my hand is going to move. Okay, for this part of the apples, I am going to move to a little more brown color. I want you to see this part. Okay, so for this part, okay, again I am just doing something like this. Remember this is what I am doing. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. We will keep working. Now we are going to work on this apple. So what are we going to do? We are going to work with red and ochre color. Okay, always I do my mix of colors. I'm working on the red, a little of ochre color. Okay, so you can see a little of yellow. Colors are kind of pale, first layer, and you're gonna see. Okay, this is just the first layer of color, so don't worry if things are not as you think it should be. We will go and remember our good friend the paper is going to help us take part of the pigment that we don't want. Okay, we are going to go now to the lemon or lime, whatever it is. And for that, what are we going to do? We're going to work with yellow, and I think I have here some left of green, and ochre color. I think I need a little more of green, and I will do exactly the same thing I did before. Okay, I have paper here so you can see what I'm doing, and I just cover, okay, the whole thing all together. As you see, for now, basically what we are doing is we are covering the surface in a color that is mostly flat. Okay, as this is already dry, the banana, so we can start working on this area. So for that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the left of the red color here. Okay, I am messing up everything here. And I will go with some green and this dark brown. Get a mix of this dark brown and green. I'm using Viridian green. It's going to give me what I need for now, which is kind of these details. Okay, working on this part. So we have created, okay, this texture, more or less with the same color. Okay, I am going to go on this part, over this part, which is kind of like the dark part of this apple, which is in the back. So we start to make the difference between one part and the other. Same color I am going to use to this other part here. Okay, so this is the second part, and I don't like what I did here, but I'm gonna fix it. So this is the part of the apple here. that I am creating. Okay, so what I have done these, I have done this layer. Okay, so unfortunately today you don't see everything. I'm going to try to move a little bit the camera a little upper so you can see the two pieces at the same time. We are going to keep working on this, and now we are going to keep working on the banana. And with the banana, what we are going to do is we will let the shadow, this shadow, go to the end, but we are going to try to create this face of the banana. Okay, so with one brush we put the color, and with the other we with a little of water, okay, we try to create the other kind of case. I don't like too much what I have done, so I am basically just, if not erasing, at least I am mixing some yellow and green in order to work in this specific part of the banana. Mixing some brown here, okay, so I think it's getting there. We are getting there, and with the shadows later we will create the whole space. What I'm doing right now is I am reinforcing part of what I have done before. Yeah. And here what I'm doing is I'm just creating a little line here, so this has some kind of definition. Okay, later I am going to work on some shadow that is going to go across here. Okay, while this is still drying, okay, and I don't want to mess up too much, I am going to go and do the end basically. Okay, so what I'm doing is mixing really dark brown and some green. And with that, I have a color that is going to be dark enough, okay, to have these touches up here. Remember that we are going to do something also here. Yeah, and then I think for now it is okay. We will let it dry and we will go now to the apple. So with the apple, what color are we going to use? I'm going to use this red. Okay. A clean palette sometimes doesn't work as good as one that is very messy, because with the one that is very messy and not so clean, you have more variety of colors. So what I'm doing, I am mixing, okay, the green, okay, this green or kind of orange with this more yellow, dark red color, and with that, as I normally do, I am going to put the color, okay, and once I put the color, I just expand the color in this way. So see the effect that you have just by drying a little bit, okay, the paper. And as this is something that a color that we are building, so the color that I am using, the red that I am using, I'm going to mix a little bit more with the other red, with brown and with green. And now that it's still wet, I am going to put this here. I dry my brush and I just go over this. And I will have to stop because it's too wet and it's starting to get messy. So we have to see when, you know, things are already too wet, and that whatever we are going to do is not going to be great for the piece. Okay, so now using exactly the same leftover of this, I will go with more green and my friend the ochre color, which I have here, and I hope that you can see, and if not, you imagine. And I'm gonna go on the lime, and on the lime I will do this. I'm not adding more color. What I'm doing is just drying a little bit my brush, and creating this kind of texture here. Okay, I'm gonna do exactly the same I did before. putting some brown with a little of green here, and try to darker a little bit more this while it's still wet. I think it is more or less like this. I'm gonna let it dry. Now we will be working on a layer of yellow. This is a little too dirty, so I'm gonna clean a little bit my yellow. And what we are going to do is that we are going to work on a layer, okay, transparent layer of yellow for this apple. You see, I have waited some hours for doing this, so the watercolor is really dry. Okay, I think that if you use a hair dryer, as I have suggested before, you're going to be able to do this also. For the banana, we are going to mix, okay, a little of also red, so creating yellow that is really warm. So you see what I'm doing, and I'm just working on a layer, okay, of and kind of orange, something, a color that is between orange and yellow, because I realize, okay, that the yellow that I've been working doesn't convince me, which is okay. However, this is a 2-hour class. I would love you to do this in several days. Why? Because from one day to the other, you see some mistakes, something that really doesn't convince you, and so you can fix that. Okay, we are going to let this dry for now. As I don't have a hair dryer here, probably I'm gonna wait like 20 minutes to dry, or at least 15 minutes dry. We will go now to some of our shadows, but for doing that, we will try to see first what are the shadows. Okay, we're going to work with the shadows that are in the banana. Why? Because the banana is a little far away from us, and we always say that we have to start working always with whatever is in the bag. The banana and the apple and the lime, they are already dry, so I can work on the top of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on these kind of shadows using exactly the same technique that I used before. So it's a kind of very thick, very transparent, that's what I want to say, very transparent layer of dark color in this case. So where is my dark brown? My dark brown is here, and I am going to mix my dark brown with a little of black, not to get a black, is to get a darker brown. And remember, it's not really to cover the whole thing, it's just to make a layer. Well, in this case, I make a mistake. So we have this kind of hole here, okay, that, as you know, it was not dry, so I could fix that, okay. And I'm gonna work also in this part. I cannot work in this part because it's too wet for now, but I will do the other one. For this one, this should be a little more darker than the other color that I had, but also a little less diluted because it's more intense, the shadow here, okay? So we have now this here that goes probably from here to the bottom part. Okay, so we will extend take more, sorry. Okay, now while I was painting this is dry enough, this part, so I am going to work on this shadow here. But this one is a little diffuse, so this is what I'm doing, okay? So I am rinsing my brush, drying on the paper, and diffusing the shadow here. Okay, so now everything is wet, so I cannot work neither in this or this. I'm gonna let it dry. We will go now to work on the line. This part still not enough dry, however I have to remake some parts of here, or if not remake, at least emphasize some of the shadows here, but it is not the moment for doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the darker part of the line and probably on the darker part also of the apple, and for that we go on the same kind of colors, which is dark brown and a little of black. For this to work, the only condition has to be that the paper, okay, is already very dry, and I will go trying to work on the same kind of like texture that I have on the lemon. And still, I think while I am doing this, I think that we will go and made a layer of color on this lime. I want the lime to be a little more green and a little more yellow in some parts. see how I'm working in this with the brush? Okay, because this is the trying to replicate the texture of the light. So now, this using exactly the same mix that we have been working with in our shadows, well, dark part more than shadows. I am going to work on this part, the steam. This is too dark, so I'm gonna just remove part of it. Then I will go on the top of that again, but once it's really dry. Rinse my brush. Now, using the same color, I'm gonna try to emphasize a little bit of this part here. Get this line between the two bananas. So I put the color and then I just blend it a little bit. That way, okay, we have very clear the division, okay, between the two pieces of bananas. And I will do exactly the same thing here. Using a dark color. Okay, now I have to let it dry a little bit, and I will go on the top with probably some red, some dots of kind of yellow here, okay, and same thing here, some yellow on the top of this lemon. And then what we'll do is we are going to start working on these projected shadows here. So now we will go on the top of the apple and the light to enhance, to give them a little more of color. The only part that we can remove, okay, the color is the center, and this one is still may need another layer of some kind of green here, okay, but I will go for now with the apple with some more red. As I said before in other classes, there is not only one way of creating or painting something. I have moved some of my oil techniques into the watercolor, so it may not be the way some other watercolorist painters work, but it's the way I do my work, and the only way I can really teach, you know, based on my experience. Okay, I drop a water here, and I will go with some green. As I said, I'm gonna see if this is helping me. No, this is not helping me. This is far too green, so I am just going to blend into something else. This can work. Okay, so now while all this is drying, I will draw. Okay, so I don't get loose some of these shadows here. Okay, so and for that, with my watercolor pencil, I will try to draw, okay, the shadow that I have here. Which is more or less going to be like that. Okay, let's see if I can work on that using the left of what I have, the same kind of mix of dark brown and black. I'm gonna go for a first layer, and this is and this is going to be there. Okay, so this is going to be the first layer of these shadows. And I say the first layer because you see that there are many differences of gray, of dark gray here. So when it is close to the apple, it's going to be a little more darker. And as we get far from the fruit, from the object that is resisting the path of the light, we get lighter. Okay. But we will work a little bit more on this. We are going to let this dry for now. We will be working now on some of the finished touches that we are going to do with this one. And basically, it's about with the little still of black that I have here, and now we are going to use just black. There are still many things that can be done, but I don't want to complicate your life also too much. So this is the kind of shadows, as I said before, you want to okay, and now using whatever that color that you have, we are going to kind of anchor, as always, anchor these elements, and how we're going to anchor these elements, making this illusion of horizon. And we will do exactly the same here, more or less. It should be here. So we put some color here, and then we just melt it a little bit. Okay. We can work on this probably lower part with something that we have done before. Maybe I'm thinking about putting some blue here, light blue for sure. Okay. And same thing maybe in the upper part, some kind of dark blue. Oh, not dark, kind of light blue. I don't know what I'm saying sometimes. Okay, this part is really up to you. You know, once we remove the tape, we are gonna see a little more clear that. So the most important part for this are the corners, because the corners in a way insinuate the rest of the background. Okay guys, we completed our fourth task, and I hope that you enjoy it.